Lance Block is here. Tim O'Keefe is here. Tatum O'Brien is here. And the Sadeks are here. Tammy and John Sadek. I've got 2 goals left before I let these individuals who just held a press conference in our upstairs here and put word out that they're calling for an FBI investigation of the death of Andrew Sadek. I have 2 goals here yet. One is jurisdictional. I want to talk to Tim O'Keefe and Tatum O'Brien about this because they understand North Dakota law and how it relates to Minnesota. Tatum, how do you get them all to quit deflecting and saying, go talk to that person, talk to that person?
Well, that's why we're calling for a federal investigation, because when you're dealing with 2 different states and everybody's pointing the finger at everybody else, we're looking for the feds to come in because they will be one answer. They will talk to all of the agencies and they can't keep, pointing the finger at someone else. I mean, the thing about this is if this was an undercover vice officer, undercover, law enforcement that got killed doing some sort of an undercover drug deal, I mean, that the feds would have stepped in and we probably would have had this answers to this investigation. We would have known what happened long time ago, and this has been almost 2 years, and we have a young college kid, and everybody's pointing the finger at someone else because it's law enforcement investigating law enforcement.
In terms of all of this, because it started at the State College of Science. Imagine this, Tim. When Tammy first started making her case of who do I talk to, who's the lead investigator of this, this is a murder. Or this could easily be a murder. But, I mean, we don't know. Many of us believe that. I do. And we're talking to the chief of law enforcement on a campus.
Yeah. What is the duty of a chief of law enforcement on a campus? Let's think about it. Maybe some kids have a little alcohol in their dorm room. Maybe he's directing traffic to the football game. Maybe he's writing a few parking tickets and speeding tickets. Is the chief of police on the State School of Science college campus used to investigating a murder? Has he been trained in preserving a scene? Is he even thinking that way?
They put Ziggy in a terrible spot.
Absolutely,
and
Joel.
They kept deflecting back to him. I don't blame him as much as what I blame the law enforcement that didn't step in.
No, we're not blaming anybody because they didn't ask to be put in this position at the College of Science, but they knew what was going on. So I would hope that the thought would be at least, this is bigger than us. Let's get somebody in here to take charge that has experience, that's dealt with this. Go to Richland County. They're heavily involved because
go to BCI.
They're recruiting, but go to BCI. They're the ones that are supposed to be overseeing the CIs.
That's what we pay them to do.
And so let's at least take it up there. And then, the bodies found on the Minnesota side. So you know what? Let's just pass it over to Minnesota BCA. But they're involved in SEMCA as well.
Back with more right after this. Let me walk you around the room. John and Tammy Sadek are with us. They are the parents of Andrew Sadek. Their son was used as a drug informant and found dead in the Red River, right on the Minnesota side in the Wapton-Breckenridge area. As I go to my left, there's Lance Block. He is an attorney out of Florida now representing the Sadeks, as is Tim O'Keefe and Tatum O'Brien from their North Dakota Bureau of the new side of Lance Block's team that he put together to get to the bottom of this. Before we left on the break, we started talking about jurisdictional issues. And when I talked to Tatum O'Brien, I said, Tatum, how do you get to the heart and soul and the bottom of who's going to finally take the lead on this? And her answer to me was, if you're just joining us, that's why we're calling for the FBI to step in. That's why we're calling for an FBI investigation. Tatum, what if they say no?
Well, that's a good question, Joel. I would say if they say no, then we would be asking for, the Attorney General of the state of North Dakota to say, this is a citizen of my state, and I would direct the BCI to step in and take the lead on this and give this family and the public some answers as to what occurred here.
Tim, in terms of all of that, is there... there's always supposed to be this separation between administration and FBI is supposed to be able to conduct their investigations separate from all of that. But it sure seems to me in the world that I live in, people can put pressure on the FBI to take a look at this. Are you going to do that?
We'll do whatever we can to get to the bottom of this. And if that means we go to our senators, our congressmen, if we go to our legislators, we'll go wherever we need to go to find somebody that will step up and push one of these entities into taking the lead. They've all had the opportunity. I mean, start with the campus police to Richland County to SEMCA to the BCI. They've all had their opportunity. Now it's sitting on the desk of the Minnesota BCA agent. Who's going to step up? Hopefully the FBI will, and I think they'll. I'm optimistic, Joel. I'm optimistic. But if not, we'll put the pressure wherever we have to get answers that this family deserves.
The KFGO news team has contacted the FBI, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation has said, to no surprise of Lance Block, no comment.
No, but they've just gotten notice. So,
right.
I mean, it's going to go up the food chain anyway. So.
I want to talk, Lance, before I let all of you go, about the legislation that's needed, because you look at this not just as a North Dakota, Minnesota problem, but you've looked at this as a nationwide problem. My first experience of you was on that 60 Minutes piece with Leslie Stahl that Tammy and John were on, and you really believe that national legislation is needed.
Yeah, well, first case that came to light, as far as I'm concerned, was 7 years ago, the Rachel Hoffman case in Florida, 23-year-old co-ed who was murdered in the middle of a bust operation that went wrong, and as a result, Florida passed legislation. The parents and I lobbied the bill through. I actually wrote the original bill, but it was watered down, greatly by law enforcement. But there's no question. This is a national problem. I've got cases in Massachusetts, West Virginia, Arizona, a couple in Florida still, and now this case. And it's going on across the country. And we need to have some standards. There are no national standards for how to use confidential informants, and most importantly, how to protect them.
And the reason that this continues to go on, and any reasonable law enforcement officer knows that they're putting somebody like Andrew in harm's way, is because the federal money shuts down unless you get these convictions.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even convictions. It's about arrests. Law enforcement keeps meticulous statistics, but you can't find out how many confidential informants are serving in North Dakota. You don't have that information available. Of course, you don't know how many are getting killed or hurt, but the bottom line is law enforcement does keep very accurate statistics on how many people are arrested for drug-related crimes. And those statistics is what makes you eligible for more and more funding, both at a federal level, state, and local level. Arrest numbers demonstrate the need for additional law enforcement revenue. And I always say that law enforcement is as addicted to the drug war money as the druggie on the street is to his drugs.
So it really does come down to self-perpetuation of your job, of the revenue source coming in.
Follow the money.
All right. Before I let the attorneys go, anything else that all three of you might want to bring into this conversation?
Like I said at the beginning, we have three goals. One is a legislative goal. Two, we want accountability of the programs to occur and accountability of the individuals involved. If, number three, the answers show that somebody should be held accountable. And that's the third thing is our primary focus and our goal right now and why we're here. We're asking the FBI and the federal government to step in and take charge. And hopefully they're willing to do that because this family deserves answers.
Yeah, I mean, what really drew me to come this far is the first time that I talked to Tammy and John, and that was we just want help to make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else's child.
Tammy, I'm going to end with you. It doesn't surprise you. You knew I was going to bring you back into this conversation. She gives me that look that she's given me for quite some time now. The very first time I talked to you, you said to me, I don't want to have to bring lawyers into this. I want people to just do their jobs, to get to the heart and soul. I want to know what happened to Andrew. Here we are on
almost 2 years later.
Exactly. And none of that has come your way yet.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I just have to tell you, as somebody who considers you a friend, I don't blame you one bit for hiring a lawyer. My only question would be, why did it take so long?
Well, it's not the North Dakota way. We expected them to do their jobs, and it just isn't happening.
So I have to ask you, in all of that time that we've been on there, that since you and I have first talked, since you've said, look, I want information on all of this. I want, who's come talk to you? Who has come down and said, Tammy, John, I'm the guy. Here's my cell number. You contact me anytime you need. I'm going to be investigating this. We're going to get to the heart and soul and the bottom of what happened to Andrew, and I'm going to be there for you. It may take time, but you just give me time, and I'll get to the bottom of this. We'll find out what happened to Andrew. Who was that guy that told you that?
No one. No one has said that.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the problem here. That's the problem here. And hopefully the FBI will step in and be that person for you.
I hope so.
I admire your courage. You've lost both your sons. You sat up there in front of all of the media of the area. It's going to make not just regional news here. It will make national news here. I have no doubt about that after the 60 Minutes piece. That isn't how you want to spend your life. You need closure when it comes to this.
We do need closure, yeah.
Yeah. Tammy, thank you.
Thanks, Joel.
And thank all of you for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.